Whenever an immigrant commits a crime, people blame all immigrants. But when a white person commits a crime, people blame mental health. A few months ago, that guy drove his car into a parade in Liverpool. Everyone's knee-jerk reaction was, the Muslims are killing us all. And then we found out it was a white guy, and everyone just went, oh, lads, you gotta check on your mates. Only white guys get humanised in the media. A white guy commits a crime and the headline's always, father of three, beloved son, devoted husband, murders his entire family. Whenever an immigrant commits a crime, people blame all immigrants.
It says, here's the quote. If you can convince the lowest white man he is better than the best colored man, he won't even notice that you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on and he'll empty his pockets for you. Any guesses?
Tactic. Blame black people for literally everything. I know y'all hate facts and statistics more than the Constitution or poor people or immigrants, but the three most federally dependent states in America are Kentucky, Alaska, and West Virginia. Kentucky, 80% white, only 8% African American, well below the national average. Alaska, only 60% white, but only 3% African American. West Virginia, over 90% white. West Virginia is one of the most federally dependent states in the nation, one of the poorest states in the nation. Again, over 90% white people, under 4% African American. Again, I know y'all hate math and academics more than, like, I don't know, life itself. But the math ain't mathin', and it's not on your side, as always.
Billionaires have convinced poor white people that poor brown people are the problem. A spokesman for the ruling elite said they had to exploit algorithms to manipulate people into thinking their real enemy is their neighbour, because the narrative that foreigners are destroying the country distracts from the oligarchs who actually are, which ensures the homes of working class migrants are burned down rather than the mansions of the governing class. When asked if they were concerned about the population ever developing class consciousness, the spokesman said yes, that's why we're building spaceships. Billionaires have convinced poor white...
Addressing the poor.
I'm not talking to you.
You are.
Okay, okay, I'll look you in your eyes when I say it. Okay? Nolan Wells. Black people don't hang themselves from trees after they broke their fucking bones, okay? We have a major problem. It's not immigrants, it's not black people, it's not indigenous people, it's the white people, okay? We don't want AI data centers. We're in drought and we want a future. And young people like me and this guy right here, we don't have a future, okay? We're telling you what we need and you don't give a damn. And I'm so sick and tired of you old people not giving a shit about what we're telling you because we don't have a future. You understand that? I'm looking at you now because you wanted so badly to make romantic eye contact with me. Okay.
Time.
Hey, Shalom. Yabashim Shabbat Kakadas Brakatham. Kala Yahal Bashim Al Shai. Yeah, this is I'm gonna do a lesson set up a little bit different that's more video based. And just summarize it, man. Before I do that, again, I want to give double honors to our apostles, who are our elders who rule well, and blessed salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. And another blessings and salutations to the innumerable multitude, which are the women and children and select men that, and some men, I would say, that follow this truth and sincerity. Okay? But, yeah, man, as you see in the videos, man, it shows you the tactics that Esau uses to, use us as bywords. Matter of fact, let's get that real quick. This is all their propaganda. You know what I'm saying? And through that propaganda, it helps to justify the injustice that they push towards us, from the killings to even the before and during and after. Like before they'll line it up, oh, he's a thug, he's this, he's that. During, put the gun down, or he was stealing, or whatever. But it all circles and centers around the propaganda of us being hyper-violent, low-educated, pretty much beast-like, and our women are beast-like too. That's how they perpetuate it, because we're not beasts. We're actually the wisest of the earth, man. All right? We're the most human. These motherfuckers is building robots. Okay? Meanwhile, you got KKK members getting sentenced to 15, 20 years for racial acts, right? And Jake's still up there talking about, I forgive you. All right. And Jake forgave Esau for slavery, man. But it's ironic, but they can't forgive the Most High. That's a different subject. Just came on my mind to think about that. They got time to forgive Esau for slavery, but they can't. They want to question where the Most High was. It's crazy. But getting back onto it, Jake is a forgiving people. They're inventive. We're the salt of the earth. Okay, but here it is. This guy is bringing nothing but death. All right, that red horse, man. All right. So Psalms 44. Let's see here. I'm probably starting at 13. I can't do that. I'll start at 9. All right, Psalms 44:9, it says, but thou hast cast off and put us to shame, and goest not forth with our armies. Thou makest us to turn back. Yeah, the Lord, when we fell out of grace, the Lord stopped protecting us, man. You know? And it's just like a woman with a man. You get complacent and you think that you're owed these things, that this is life, that this is normal, and you can do what you want, and you still deserve protection. You know, and Yahweh Shemel Shai would turn his face against us, which is why, you know, even though through the blood of Yahweh Shai and the elect, we're still on this bridge of grace, dealing with every aspect of it, from the Lord turning his back on us, from us coming back into the truth, learning our culture, to overcoming, you know, all this. Because everything don't just happen at the drop of a hat. There's a plain beginning and there's a plain ending. But then there's a, you know, like you don't just put no sugar in no Kool-Aid and then instantly you got to stir that shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. But when you put that Kool-Aid pack in there, it's gonna instantly turn the water a certain color. You know, it's a plain beginning. You know, so. Same thing with this. When the Lord was crucified, it was a plain beginning of a redemption. But the process to the redemption, because it was just thousands of Israelites, when there's hundreds of thousands and millions of Israelites. All right? There's generations that needed to be taught that wasn't even on earth. Okay? Even though the majority of the elect was around when the Lord was around. All right? But at the end of the day, you know, all this is a building, a stirring, just like Esau falling away, his mark falling off, all right, to where he's been smitten, and ultimately the end is gonna manifest, and his nation, his country is gonna be smitten. Everything's gonna be apparent that the Lord ain't dealing with that nigga. All right. It says, but thou hast cast off and put us to shame, and goest not forth with our armies. Thou makest us to turn back from the enemy, and they which hate us spoil for themselves. And that's Esau. Esau hate us, man. All right. You got Jake out here going to bat for him, but they'll use one of their tactics is to use us as a scapegoat while you know, because the whole scapegoat tactic is putting all your sins on something else and letting it go. Okay. So Esau pretty much would do evil, and then when people get stirred up, he'll find a loose nigga and brandish him from CNN to NBC. Okay? But when you see, because they control the narrative, it ain't like that the niggas they find ain't the niggas they find. These niggas be fucking horrible. Okay? But they'll make sure the whole world sees the worst of us. Over and over. They make sure that's the only thing they see. And if we do any good, they're going to make sure they put an asterisk to remind everybody the lowest form of us. All right? They're going to R. Kelly, Michael Jackson's, you know what I'm saying? Michael Vick's. Okay? They're going to make sure the whole world know about their atrocities. But you got people like Ben Roethlisberger, the guy in Idaho that just did the shooting and all that. You know, I believe he was a Edomite. right winger, and the story just dies. Nobody's talking about it. It just goes away, and they just brush it under the rug and act like these are isolated incidences. These people are mass killers, repeatedly. Okay, repeatedly, and they don't sit there and say these Edomites are violent, man. They're bloody men. Okay, and the thing is that, these videos I wanted to post to show Jake that there's a perpetual hatred. Okay, so speaking on that, I'm gonna finish this out first. It says, thou hast given us like sheep appointed for meat, right? And has scattered us among the heathen. That's why we're in Babylon right now. And our people are not only in Babylon, but we're in South America. But among the heathen, we're in Europe. All right, we're in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia. We're in Russia. All right, because the scattering happened in many phases. Like I said, it ain't just in one instant. Everybody just shook us up like a snow globe, and then we went everywhere. You had periods and times from the Babylonian kingdom, the Persian Medial Empire. There was a scattering that happened then. Sure, Israel consolidated themselves back in Israel, but everybody didn't come back. A lot of the people laid their roots over there and stayed where they was at. All right, then you get into the Byzantine Empire, where the people that believed in Yahweh Shai pretty much got pushed out. All right. Well, I jumped the gun. You got the disperse, okay? Because it's lucky I jumped the gun, but also I do want to point out, even in Acts, there was a dispersion, and that dispersion is evidence that we were in all these other lands, okay? Even before the time of Yahweh Shai, because that was like, you mean to tell me 33 years that Jake dispersed themselves? No, these are it takes generations and hundreds of years. All right, when you get into the book of Acts, I believe it was chapter 2, but the whole point is that we were scattered abroad. Paul will tell you that, but there's moments and incidences that prove our scattering. And it all happened in the beginning of the splitting of the kingdoms, when that garment got rent, and the Lord said He's gonna rent the garment of Israel, and ultimately we went split into two, and then we just ultimately dispersed entirely. Okay, that was around the last time the line of David was on the throne. Okay, which is the Lord ordained the line of David, the lineage of David, to always sit on the throne forever and ever. All right, and that last person, the buck stops with Yahweh Shai. All right, King David's gonna sit on the throne, but Yahweh Shai is ultimately where that buck stops. All right, and that's a heavenly buck right there. Okay, but the point is that, like I said, you had the Medial Empire where we were scattered. You have the the Babylonian Empire. You have the Hasmonean dynasty, where a lot of our people were incorporating themselves into Rome and Greece. Okay, and then Jake ultimately got pushed out, after 90 AD. Okay, or 70 AD. I get 90 BC and 70 AD mixed up sometimes. But the point is that there was a scattering then. And then there was a Byzantine Empire where Jake really scattered east, into Russia and all that. All right, the Middle East, Saudi Arabia and all that. Jake was all down there, man. Hispaniola. All right, Jake was all through there. Okay, and then you had the ultimate scattering, which was the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, so we've been scattered amongst these nations, man. The Lord put us among heathens, and when we were among them, we became bywords and slanders. Okay, it says, Psalms 44:13, thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a derision to them that are round about us. You see, thou makest us a byword among the heathen, a shaking of the head among the people. That's the whole point. All right, and this is the part of the process, man. For us to be called niggas, spicks, wetbacks, tomahawks, for us to be called stupid, silly, slow, or dumb, or savage. All these are bywords, man. We're never called who we are. All right, inventors. All right, great dancers, great with women, women great with men, beautiful. Okay. If we're beautiful, they take it like they treat us like a fucking albino leopard or something like that. Like it's something unique. No, it's fucking normal, man. We're a beautiful people. All right? That's why y'all women gravitate to the men, man. Our women just bugged out. All right? But the whole world mess with us, man. Go to Thailand, all these other countries, people gravitate towards Jake, man. All right, like they ain't never seen a so-called black man before. Nigga, more about seeing Jake. They just know who he is. The scriptures tell you that we interacted. I get it. There's after generations, you kind of lose certain connections, but it's not that devastating. All right, if niggas got stories of the flood, I'm sure they got faint stories of interactions with Jake, man. All right. So I'm going to get this last precept real quick. In Ezekiel 35:1, it says, moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, which is Esau, and prophesy against it. And that's what we're doing. Okay? We're going to call this shit out, man. And at this point, Esau has made his tongue to fall upon himself because his own people are like, bro, this is like because Esau's so much of a demon. He'll be doing shit. It's like the cousin that come over your house and start shit in your neighborhood. What that boy Day say, I gotta live here, you don't. Like the little Edomites gotta stay around us, bro. They gotta interact. The regular Edomites gotta interact around us. And then you get the elites and the high-ranking motherfuckers to they'll do some egregious, or their authority will do some egregious, or their system. And then they'll start painting pictures. And of course, the bulk of their people, the bulk of Edomites going to roll with it. You know what I'm saying? 95, 99% are going to roll with it. I would say about 90% going to roll with it, and the rest of the 10%, 5% going to omit, or you could say 60% will roll with it vehemently. About 30% will omit, and you probably get 10 that is trying to fight for a right of equality, but they want a whole different agenda. They trying to bring the whole world together and have homosexuality and all this shit incorporated into that mix. But at the end of the day, ain't nobody coming to save us, man. Okay? And we got the devil jumping on our ass, man, which is Esau, the so-called white man. All right? It says, and I say unto it, thus saith the Lord, behold, mine seer, I am against thee, and will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. Yeah, the Lord's going to destroy Esau in its entirety. Okay? That's what desolate means. To utterly destroy. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Why? Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Because remember the transition. The Lord brought us, the Lord gave us redemption in a time of Rome. Transatlantic slave trade had happened after that. Okay? And then that was a punishment that was ordained by the Lord, but they went too far with that. You know what I'm saying? Our iniquity had an end at a point. All right. They learned their lesson. And he kept going. Created a system. Mushed the first idea to the side, and then roll with his, because he felt like he is and none else beside him, man. He felt like he was the Most High. because the Lord ain't doing nothing to him. But now it's at the point that it's, all right, I told you to do it, but you're overdoing it. So now I'm going to just watch you do how far you're going to go. And I'm seeing how far you're going to go. And I'm going to let you stack your case up so I can utterly destroy your ass, man. Okay? The Lord building a case on Esau, man. Like the feds. Like Esau like to do. It says, therefore, as I live, saith the Lord, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. That is destined for Esau, and that hasn't happened yet. Okay, blood hasn't pursued him yet, but it's about to. It's about to. Between these robots in Saudi Arabia, and which is the Valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, Yemen's getting involved. Saudi Arabia's getting involved. All right. Ukraine just they hit a Iranian cargo ship. All right, the Third World War is brewing, man. Okay, be all that you can be. You know who's gonna be running front line first, thinking they're gonna win because of their advanced weaponry, but the Lord got a cake baked for them. Them Carmanians gonna take a portion of y'all armies, man. All right. And a lot of y'all are women. Spiritually. Y'all ain't built to be out there, and a lot of y'all are demonic. It ain't like y'all fighting for freedom. Y'all just want to hurt people. A lot of you Edomites just want to hurt people because they think they're dominant. You know, it's a difference between being violent, being a bully, and fighting for your life. Those are two different fights. Because if you pop a bully in his mouth hard enough, he'll change. But ain't nothing gonna stop. No, go to Vietnam. You know, that guerrilla warfare, the people is fighting for their life, man. And that type of fighting is gonna waste a portion of Edom's army, man. Most definitely. And I can't wait, man. All right, so verse 9 it says, I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy city shall not return, and ye shall know that I am the Lord. Because thou hast did what? Thou hast said, these two nations, all right, the northern kingdom and southern kingdom, and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it, whereas the Lord was there. All right. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will even do according to thine anger and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them, and I will make myself known among them when I have judged thee. Fuck y'all talking about, man. Fuck y'all talking about. The Lord coming for Israel, man. All right, the Lord coming to redeem us. The Lord, we're being done wrong. I don't give a fuck what the propaganda is, what the scientific theories and the ways you can explain it. We're being done wrong as a nation en masse. Overlooked, destroyed, taken advantage of, misused, abused. Okay, killed, scientifically experimented on, all kind of shit, man. The Lord got a cake baked for Esau, man, and anybody that's standing next to him gonna catch the shock wave of it, man, including you Uncle Tom niggas, man. You know. So with that being said, I'm gonna give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakha HaKodash. Double honors our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. Shalom.